So it's another Hot Topic Tuesday, November 18th. What's next week?
A thankless job, Mike. More
Thanksgiving.
than sit up here
So
and do this
for
all
next
day.
week, we
100% I was.
will not be having a Hot Topic Tuesday next week. No Hot Topic. Look, it kind of gets skinny at the end of the year anyway. Um, but when you add Thanksgiving week into it on top of it and everybody takes Thursday and Friday off, well, not everybody, but many. Well, many are also taking the time off before that. So no hot topic next week. And pardon me if I look over here, it's because I got camera here and you guys are over here. Um, but let's get this. As you can see, I want to dig into the aspect of looking at statistics. Where are we at? Because as of yesterday morning, I'm coming up on a Hot Topic Tuesday, and I'm looking for a little intervention as to what is the hot subject matter. And when I had a little bit of time to sit back and think about it, it actually became very obvious. Have you noticed the shifting in the market? And I asked that question because if you're actively in your business, if you have any listings, if you're looking for, we'll call it buyers, here's what we know. These numbers are changing. Okay. So I will tell you that I haven't really prepared by going through and looking at the numbers. So today we're going to learn the numbers together. And then with that, I want us to look at what do we do with what we discover over the next 30 minutes or so. So feel free to join in, take yourself off mute, ask questions, do all of the above. Because today is about learning, one, what the market is, two, what do we do with and how do we handle what the market is doing. So let's take this one first. If you're curious, I am in Real Comp. So for those who have Real Comp, you simply go to the stats, showing time market stats. It will open up this tab, which is called Info Sparks. All right. There's lots that you can do. You can change up here. You can change the price ranges, put in specific. I can go to a particular area. You can see all. But we're dealing with our entire company today, and therefore I want to show you statistics for all of Real Comp, which again, it's 92% of the listings in Lower Michigan. So here we go. I've got this set for 3 years just to kind of give us the first thing. And first, I want you to just take a look at what's going on. And you'll notice down here at the bottom, January 22, January 23, January 24. And I want you to just look at the line. Check it out as I click to the different ones. What's the first thing you're noticing? It's up, it's down. Otherwise, one of the things that we should always remember, this is verbiage and dialogue for us to use with buyers and sellers. Real estate is cyclical. Real estate is cyclical. Every year it goes up, every year it goes down, and all of the numbers correspond with that. Every statistic that we can measure is going to show that. So as we can tell, where are we at? Now here, let's go back. Even the average sale price, when is it its highest? Every year? Did you realize every year the best time of the highest sale price, June? And then what's it do? slowly creeps back down until
We get that shelf out of the trash.
every year
You see the line?
it's January. Now this year it was actually February, dropped even a wee bit further.
Well, I told them.
But here we are. We'll also see that every year come fall, the number starts to slide off. So the real estate business is cyclical. So here's what I want you to catch then. When is the quote unquote best time of the year to sell based upon this?
Summer months,
The
June.
summer months. Get it done early, right? Get it done early. So we should be putting our home on the market then in April, May, so that it would go June. As a matter of fact, I believe, let me just check, pending sales. When's the high point? May, June. Closed sales, June. And isn't it interesting? Look, June, July. I just noticed this. June and then July drops. But here, a little off in 2024, how we were here. A little increase in July. But the obvious, it's June and July for the closed. But just watch, there's a 1 month shift. They go pending first. 4 to 6 weeks later, they're closing. And that's where you'll see there's about a 1 month shift between the difference between the pending and closed. So here's a good one for us right now. We're in the midst of fall, and we should be doing our business development, our lead generation. We're getting with people who are thinking, well, or asking, when is the best time of year to sell? When should I put my home on the market? Let's talk for a second. What's the best answer? What say you? When's the best time of the year to sell? When should I put my home on the market?
June.
June. Actually, if we were using the statistics, Marietta, we'd actually put it on the market when? Just a month ahead, right? Maybe 2 months ahead. So yeah, Holly just put it in here.
Yeah.
We're really looking at April probably would be the time statistically. But of course, here's the thing. That's when you're going to get the potential of, it appears, right? Let's see. Sale price. Yep. It appears that's when we're most likely to get the highest sale price. Yet, what's the issue with putting your home on the market during this time period? It's all the competition.
More competition.
Okay. So it is constantly rising. So is it best? I'll tell you my answer directly. If people ask me, when's the best time to put my home on the market? When you're ready. When's the best time of year to put your home on the market? When you're ready. Holly says now. Why would now be a great time?
There's competition out there. People are looking at how, if somebody has to move, they're going to look at what's available.
I always put it in, and I'll be very visual. I'm going to go, there's the law of supply and demand, and that means the ratio of buyers to sellers. So as it goes up, the number of listings that are available, so go the buyers. And then it'll drop, and then it'll go up, and then it'll drop. But that ratio rarely changes. When it does, we see something else happening. Okay. But when is the best time? When you're ready. Why would now be a good time? There's less inventory. We can even look, homes for sale. Oh, wow. Wait a minute. Did you realize inventory is actually going up?
That's
It's crept
crazy.
up. It's increasing. That's one of the things that I wanted you to be able to catch. So just very quickly, it's like, wait a minute. Homes for sale typically drops starting September, October. Well, we hopefully will start to see it drop again. Because we're right at the October. Here it was October, October, October. So we've seen a rise starting from February in quite a sharp increase. As a matter of fact, the entire MLS is up 15%. Now, if I'm talking with a seller, I actually want to state, our inventory is up 15.2% year over year. Even if we look at it, I'm going to change this. Peter, if you're on, I'm going to change this. Looks a little bit different, but it's the same thing. But on a monthly basis, look at that. Okay? So we should historically begin to see that fall. So when's the bad time to put your home on the market? Hard to really say until you hit October, November. If we were just, again, using the term, specifically speaking statistics, now's not a good time. However, what's another benefit of selling right now? So one, the number of homes available will start to drop. So that was Kevin's point. What else is another benefit that they could have because they're selling now?
People who aren't selling their house, but just buying, like first-time buyers.
You got it. So there's a whole lot of people who are still looking to buy now. People who buy during the months of November, December, January, February, March. What do you know about those buyers that are different from those in the summer?
They're not tire kickers.
Peter just nailed it. And I asked Peter, by the way, he may sound a little bit funny, you guys, but he's a wee bit under the weather. But I asked him to join in because I know how passionate he is about presenting and understanding this stuff. So I said, jump in if there's anything else that you pick up on this. But these guys are not tire kickers. Another way to be able to put it, they're serious about buying. If they're looking between the holidays, guys, they're serious. Now, let me throw out, well, let's see if you guys got any others. What else is key about this window of time between, we'll just call it between Thanksgiving and matter of fact, today, because I see a lot more of it already, even before Thanksgiving, through the end of the year.
Would it be for
Peter's trying
tax
not to
breaks?
play you guys. Say it again, Lori.
Would it be for tax breaks?
That's a bit of it.
Or expired listings?
Yeah. What
You can
what
still
do
move
people
before
do to
the end
their
of the year.
homes? What was that, Peter?
You can still move before the end of the year.
You still move to the end of the year. You're going to have some tax benefits because of that, right? But what are people? What do guys do on the outside most of the time, and women do on the inside?
They decorate for the holidays.
At what time of the year does your home look more homey than any other time of the year?
Christmas.
You got it. So thank you, Holly. Yeah, I mean people go in and you'll see them when a house really starts clicking to them. They'll start going, "Oh, honey, we could put the tree right over there." And all of a sudden you say, "Oh, is that important to you?" And they go, "Oh yeah, because when we get our new home, we want to host the family Christmas." Oh my, buying sign. That's like going dung dung. I mean, you can't let them slip away when something like that occurs. So, time of year, people looking at this time are most serious, and the home looks the most homey it will the entire time period. I use that at my open house. Absolutely, Lori. So good stuff, you guys. Let me make sure I haven't missed anything else. The buyer and winter months are serious. The looky-loos don't like to look in the snow. You're absolutely right. Nicolette, you actually nailed it with the decoration. So, all right. So here's the thing. Real estate is cyclical, if you will. It goes up and it goes down. It goes up, it goes down. But what do we notice? Every year, the end of the line, it's always higher than it is the previous year. Real estate is ever going up. Now, let's take a look at new listings. We're going to look same thing every year. We hit a peak. There's our summer months. We hit a peak. Same thing now. So that's the number of new listings that come in to the MLS. So we had a high point back in June of 2022, August 2023. But you notice that it's not been back up there. So that's one of the things that I'm just picking up right now. 15,987, 14. Here's December where it dropped all the way down, guys. This was basically a year ago. Here's 1 year. Look at the difference between the two spots. 14,000 versus 9,800. So we're talking almost 5,000 fewer homes, or excuse me, I'm going to reverse that. There's 5,000 more available now than there was a year ago. I hope that's what you're catching. Does that change how the market may be reacting? Will that impact the number of showings? Will that impact the price that we get? How we're going to have to negotiate? Are we going to have to know anything different for our sellers? Again, Peter, jump in if there's anything that you want me to point out, because
No, the only thing I was going to point out there is that some people think they can't list in December or January. All this is showing is that you have less competition.
so
When there's 5,000 less listings, people still have to move, right? Death, divorce, marriage,
Yeah.
kids.
now here's the interesting part. What do you notice about the high? Because here's where we are right now. This is the total number of homes for sale in the entire MLS.
It's higher now than it's been all year.
Higher than it's been in years.
Years, you're right.
Matter of
Yeah.
fact, here, let's just, out of curiosity,
Oh, no.
because see, here's the interesting part.
I did actually.
Here's 2015, guys. 2015, we're pretty much, we'll say 4 years out of the decline. We started to go back up. So our inventory was at 64,000 listings 10 years ago. We're less than half that now. It's just, when you see it, you see the same thing. Inventory down, inventory down. We went to historical lows a year out of COVID. Historical low. Lower. Guys, oddly enough, this was a very powerful year, 2021. What's the difference between 2021 and where we're at now? Not much at all. It's pretty much the same thing. If it's impact, if you were in business back pre-COVID, the only thing that's impacting your business now is you got more real estate agents in the business. And if we're not talking to the people that we know, somebody else is, and they're taking business away from you.
Hey, Darwin, can I add one thing to that, if you don't mind?
Jump on it.
So one of the things that I keep saying, oh, by the way, Holly, I'm sure Darwin will address the government shutdown there. When we see that inventory is up or that listings are up, and this turns into a negative headline in the news. Oh, listing inventory is up 25%. Guys, if you have a nickel and I give you another nickel, your piggy bank is up 100%. Does it mean you have a lot of money? Guys, the listing inventory is still, look at it, even just from 15, it's incredibly small. So don't buy into, I just wanted to say, Darwin, don't buy into the headlines. I'll try and shut up so people don't.
Oh no, don't you shut up. No, don't you do it. We'll do this one together. So I got to tell you, Peter, I don't know the actual answer to Holly's question. I believe I know it, which is, did the government shutdown affect our buyers? We may have lost a few buyers. There may have been some delayed closings because of FHA, VA, rural development loans.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, I didn't hear much about it.
As a whole, I think it may have delayed some things, but I think I think it was statistically insignificant. I mean, you're looking at, I think it was 42 days. I don't think that there's a statistical significance here. That's just me.
I would have tendency to agree with you on that. See, the most that it did is you sold your house on an FHA, and it probably got delayed 42 days. So I don't think that, Peter, I think it's a great way that you put it. I don't think it's a statistical difference. We might see a little of an uptick because now they can close. So they continue to process, but now they can close. So good question. Let's see. I wanted to look at another one on this 10-year look. Wow. So here's 2020. Look at this. July 2020. 15,000 homes sold, but we had about we had a 7-week, pretty much a complete shutdown. But now the interesting part is we're at 10,000. We're half. We're at half. Even if we go to the same time, there's July.
Could it be because
11,000.
they were stacking up, waiting to sell or waiting to close because
There
nobody
was
could
a
get
bit-
together? So it's kind of
Absolutely,
like
there was a bit of that going on, and yet I think a part of that was we better get in before the interest rates go completely nuts.
That's exactly correct. There was a small. I don't believe that there was a 50% increase just because of the COVID backup. I think Darwin's exactly right. I think that when you have 2.7, 2.8 interest rates, everyone goes nuts, as well they should have.
And everybody knew that they were going to go up. So there was a lot of go get it before it's too late. So I think that was a big part of it. But again, half of what we did at that point in 2020. But again, you can see the cyclical. Here's January 21, lowest part, January, February 22. Here's January again.
Which in January 23, that's when we saw the rate uptick. January, February 23. That was when things kind of slowed to a crawl.
And by the way, there was a whole lot of real estate agents that fell off. A lot.
70,000.
Fell off and then came back. We're back up to, I don't know the numbers, but we're very high numbers of real estate agents in the business. Again, guys, if you're new, go talk to people and take it away from the people that aren't talking to their people. Everybody knows someone in real estate. And, I make a joke about it, but let's pretend that I just started without telling you that, but state of Michigan just passed a law where when you get pulled over, the police officers are going to be asking for your real estate license and proof of insurance because not everybody's got a driver's license. Okay. Yes, that's humorous, but there's that many people who hold a real estate license. Everybody knows somebody in real estate. If you're not talking to the people that you know, somebody else is. So make sure you're the one that's just actively out there and talking. Let's see. Again, I think I mentioned this was another thing. There's just that slight shift. Let me take this back down to the 3. There's that slight shift. We have the pending sale. A month later, they're all closing. We're going to see it fall off. When's our best time, and what do we do between November and March when they all start closing again? Now is the time to go generate the leads. Go on interviews. If you find somebody that says, well, we're going to wait until spring, we're going to wait until after the holidays, I want you to remember this one. Guys, there's something for everyone, but here's what we're going to do. After talking to them and discovering, they're definitely going to wait until January. No problem. Listen, I'm booking appointments right now for January. What week would you like to get together? The first week or the second week? They go, well, it wouldn't be until the third week. Book the appointment. Book the appointment. If you think, well, that's kind of far out. Okay. Everybody's had appointments with doctors. How far out do you have to book your appointment to get your annual physical with your doctor? I mean, guys, you are a professional as much as they are. What do they have? A really deep debt that they incurred to go to college for years and years. You can make as much money, if not more, than a doctor can. And all you've got to do is talk to people. But you're a professional. Book the appointment for January. Book the appointment for February. Here's another great line that you can use. It's still, Peter Noms, it's still script. You and I know what we're talking about. Guys, it's a script. But let's pencil this in for the month of February. What does penciling in mean? Gives them the freedom to go ahead and book the appointment, but it's only in pencil, so it's still got to be confirmed because you can erase that. Let's pencil this in, okay? So don't go without getting the appointment when you have that set. So we can see the closed sales. Everything is cyclical. It's going down, but it's still pretty much in line with previous years. But we know what's happening and we have to make adjustments because of that. Now, here's where I want us to catch. Let me go back. One is our inventory. We're up higher than what we were back in 22. Let's change this and go back 5. We're almost back to where we were in January of 2020. It's moving back. So we're at April of 2020 anyway, when we were still coming down from extreme high inventory. We're coming back to, and I'll show you more of what we want to refer to as a normal market. More verbiage that you need to hang on to, script that you need to hang on to. So the number of homes for sale are going up, and this is historical, up. We're up here even from the low point. Look, up, about the same, up. Now, here we are in October, and we're up from even back in 2020 when we were still in a decline on the number of homes for sale. Now, where I want you to catch is, this is important. Days on market. When we're talking with our sellers, this is an important number for us to be able to know. Again, we're seeing the cyclical portion of it, and there's not a whole lot of difference. 21, here's 23. But we went from 21 to the low 26 to the low 29 to where the low of 31. We're seeing a return to the normal market. But what are we still in? It's still going to be a seller's market. Now, this isn't the truest sense, but we've got to get away from the point of panicking because after a week we haven't seen an offer. We're at that time of the year. We need to be able to explain to people, this is what's going on, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you can see. Basically, we need to have the same kind of conversation without the in-depth part of it that we're doing today.
Darwin, can you do me a favor? Can you give us the median as well? I think there's a real benefit to doing the median. That average, I think, is also showing some of the properties that are it's still very cyclical, but some of those averages are showing us some of those properties that are overpriced and sitting on the market for 20,000 days. You
Yeah,
know?
and the median is simply from the high and the low.
Yeah.
Median is the middle between those two.
Right. And I think that might be a better, it's still very cyclical, but it may be a better estimate of if we price right, here's where you might be. I think. Do you think, Darwin? I mean, tell me what you think.
Yes, I agree with you. And I think key being, I almost hate to say this because it goes off of what I always say, but I want to operate in the best interest of the buyer or the seller. What one is going to help me convince them to do the right thing? That's a fair answer, and I think explained it in such a way that it's for their benefit.
It's a big difference. It's what, 20 days difference?
Well, let's see. Right now it's showing 38, median 21.
Yeah, 19 days difference.
Yeah. So it's the aspect of what's going to help the seller make the best decision. So you could use the average, you could use the median. I think the key is you historically, it's not a whole lot different. But if I'm trying to keep them calm and not, what's the word? Make rash decisions, I'm probably at this point going to use the average because they're talking to doing something that maybe they shouldn't do immediately. So I think, Peter, a great discussion as to how the two vary, what the two are, and how to be able to use those.
Yeah, and I think and I'm sure that before you end this, we'll go to shows to pending. I think that really ties together. But what Holly, do you want to address this, Darwin? Holly asked that, what would you say to a seller that says, wait, I want to wait to spring so I can get the best price? I mean, I vehemently disagree, but Darwin, take that, buddy.
Well, so Peter and I have been talking a lot today. As a matter of fact, I'm surprised his voice is still working. I'm going to ask a lot of questions, and I'm going to, through my questions, provide information so that the seller can make the best decision, the one that's logical and makes the most sense for their circumstances. Now, did I answer that question the way that you and I just talked about earlier? Yes. But now, what am I going to go into? I'm going to get into their motivation and urgency. Because again, most of the time I'm going to say, what's the best time of the year to sell? When you're ready. And therefore, I've kind of given you that answer. If I go, and I would actually have the conversation, I could say, well, statistically, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I can show you that the highest price comes when you sell your home in the month of June. Yet, I question whether or not that's really factual or not, because just dealing with it, I don't see any difference.
You also have the most competition in June.
So it's like statistically, I can show you have the highest average sale price. But see, that's a statistic. That can simply mean that the highest price homes are selling during the month of June, giving you a higher average sale price. I'm gonna have a conversation with them about all of the above. So,
And especially if their home is not going to beat the competition. If you're not going to win a competitive battle on presentation, your home's not as nice, sell in the winter. There's less people to compete against.
and again, here's the thing that we need to know, because this is the average number of showings to where they get turned to pending. Now that's the average. So right now our average is 13.6. And still interesting to see. Look how many showings there were, but there were more buyers in the market. To me, this is showing that, look, we're still selling them quickly the way we had, but there's fewer buyers coming in those first few days that things are happening. Now, let's just look at it again. 13.6 median, 10. So there's only a minor shift there. Let's go. This is where I think month supply of inventory. Now, hopefully everybody knows how to describe the month supply of inventory. In simplest terms, month supply of inventory is this. It says, as an example, right now, it would take 3 months for us to sell every home in the inventory if no other home came on the market. So you've got to be able to describe what this is very clearly. So, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, right now it's showing that it would take 3 months for us to sell every home that's in inventory, and that's if no other home came on the market. Guys, that is a shift, because where we've been at is clearly a seller's market. Clearly. We're right on the verge of, with this number, a quote-unquote normal market. Not an advantage to the seller, not an advantage to the buyer. 3 months or less, most I think you will hear will say that's a seller's market. You will hear 3 to 4, maybe 3 to 5 as a normal market. If you're wondering why we've always taken 6-month listings, because that's a normal market. We're on the verge for the time of year, because again, it's still cyclical, right? It was just, 1.9 it dropped to in February, and of course, then it raised because more people putting their home on the market during those summer months. Then we get past the time where everything's selling. August just kind of drops right off, right? It goes, and it levels off on us, which then inventory keeps going up because not as many people are buying. Not as many homes are selling. Everybody thinks now that, the market's falling. Well, it's just a normal seasonal shift, which again, more verbiage for you. Seasonal shift. But the month supply inventory, we need to know. We're on the verge of a normal market. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you're not in control the way we are where we were back at the beginning of the hot selling season. Now, I refer to as a hot summer selling season starting in April. April, May, June, and you could almost count July, but really we're closing most of them. When are we closing them? June and July, most years, because August has that drop. All right. So that's something to remember. So the month supply of inventory, everybody knows that definition, can explain that to any seller at this point. Let's look at this. Now, it isn't going to mean a lot. So here's the average on the percent of list price. I think it's important to just note it's down to 98.1. In a normal market, that's probably going to be around 95, 96% of the list price. Been a long time since we've even come down, because look at how high it goes up. Even back to where we were selling for 103% of the list price. What's a portion of that? We were underpricing them. We weren't giving credence to the market where the market was going. Same thing happens when we take listings in the fall. We forget that the market's going to slow, and we continue to price it as if it's a rising market. Hopefully we get sellers that will listen to us.
Darwin, if I can chime in on this, that is, by the way, percent of original list price. It is not percentage of final list price. So that is, I think, a very interesting thing to look at is it's percent of original. And part of this, when you see it drop, we see overpricing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good point. Good point.
You know, it's percent of final list price is probably 100, right? I mean, it's close.
Yeah, on the median, you're definitely.
But if we had a statistic that said, you know, percent of final list, it'd be darn near 100%.
Yeah. You know, it's matter of fact, I think here's again, I keep talking verbiage or dialogue. Something that we need to know, and this is the way that I refer to it to people. The market, otherwise today's consumers, have become conditioned to have to offer the asking price or more. And oddly enough, don't take this the wrong way if you look in the mirror and you hear yourself in this description. Weak agents can't get buyers to make offers on homes that they should offer on because it's overpriced. So if the consumer is conditioned to offer the asking price, but a home is 105% of value on its asking price, a buyer won't offer. When all they should do is to make an offer 5% below. Does that make sense? So otherwise, if a house is worth 100% of its value, I always say it's $1, ignore the asking price. What's it truly worth? If it's not worth 105, it's worth 100, then offer 100. That's only 5% below the asking price. If it's at 210 and it's worth 200, offer 200. It's 5% below. But we've got to be good enough agents, strong enough agents to help the buyer understand, do you like the house or don't you? If you do, let's make an offer because it's overpriced.
And in that case, we can get buyers deals that they're not getting otherwise.
Matter of fact, in those time periods where we're having trouble because every time we find a new house that comes on the market and there's multiple offers, it's because we're not going after the ones that have been on the market because they're overpriced. When I sit down and I'm talking with the buyer, I say, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, I'm going to, if you told me 250, I'm going to go to 275. However, know that, man, there's multiple conversations that we should be educating our buyers on. I'm showing you 275 in hope that maybe that seller would actually, with an offer made, come down to 250. We should go look at it. If you see a home's been on the market for 30 days, we can tell that it's overpriced. Let's go look at that house. Let's see if we like it, and if we do, we make an offer, hoping that the seller will come down to what we're able to pay. Okay? But here's additional dialogue. Ignore the asking price. Teach your buyers to ignore the asking price. See, if it's priced correctly, if it's priced for 100% of its value, then you make an offer of 100%. If it's overpriced, then we make an offer of 100%. If it's undervalued, as I put it, if it's worth 100%, let a dollar represent that, any house. But we put that home on the market for 90 cents. Otherwise, 90% of what its actual value is. And then we tell everybody that's out there, even thinking of buying a home like this, that I got a dollar for 90 cents. Is it going to sell for 90 cents? And everybody goes, no. What's it going to sell for? At least a dollar. And that's where we use the escalation clause. Educate the buyers. See, we need all of this this verbiage, this dialogue, this understanding to be able to guide our buyers and sellers into making proper pricing decisions, and for buyers to make offers on homes that they like, and it's ignore the asking price. We may have to offer more, we may have to offer less, but we're going to take a look at what it's really worth and ignore the asking price. Does that help everybody? Good, good. I'm looking for head
Hey,
nods as we
Darwin.
go along. Yeah.
Hey, since you and Peter are both so knowledgeable about this,
Well, we fake our way really good, Don.
so, you know, keeping in mind that our clients are all going to be different, right? Some more
Yep.
analytical, some less. What's sort of a 2 or 3 go-to stats that you two would recommend? You know, what are your go-to stats, right? I mean, we could go as deep and as detailed as we want with the analytical folks, right? But we also don't want to talk about this for 2 hours at a listing appointment, right? So our
Hey,
buyer.
Peter, can I
Do
go
you
first?
want to start, Darwin, or do you
Yeah,
want me?
I'll go first.
All right.
Thanks.
Don, you remember the KISS principle? Keep it simple. Salesperson.
Stupid. Wait, what? No, I didn't say that.
Keep it simple, salesperson. Hey, or in your case, Don, keep it simple, Swain. I'm only going to tell them the numbers that they need to hear. You guys have heard me ask more questions so that I can provide what they need to know to be able to make a decision. Okay? I think that's a key. So I can't tell you specifically, but I'm gonna throw that out because with the way I just answered that, that means it could be days on market. It could be the month supply of inventory. It could be that I'm just showing them statistically that, hey, look what happens with the sales price. But if I know and have this, not everybody's got this. I understand that, but you know, the MLS might provide something different. Peter, what would you say?
So Don, I'm gonna give a by the way, I'm not presenting here. Darwin's just humoring me so I don't call him later.
Don't let him fool you. I brought him in on this. He just didn't know it.
So Don, I wouldn't say it's my most important, but I'd say it's my most used. I use shows depending and days on market and percent of list price are the ones I use most. So if I'm talking to Darwin and I say, hey, Darwin, you want to be in Tulsa by, for my voice, you want to be in Tulsa by January 1st. And you say, okay, our house has to sell in 30 days for you to get there. Well, Darwin, we know that the median days on market is 21 days. We also know that our house needs a show. How many times does it need to show, Darwin? It needs a show. In Meyer, it's 11 times. Okay, 13 times. So, Darwin, to get to Tulsa in January, how many showings do we need to have per week? Well, we need to have approximately 4. So, Darwin, if we don't have 4 showings in the next week, what are we going to do?
In a great way that he just put it, because he finished with a question. He's making you do the calculation. So instead of us telling, we're educating and making them do the math. They're coming up with the answer. That's selling.
Because Don, we know that selling a house is the 3 P's, right? Price, presentation, promotion. We're going to take care of promotion. They're going to take care of presentation. What's left? So it matters who says it. So what are they going to say when we say, hey, Don, it's been a week. Your house, we know that it's on average going to sell in 21 days, but we've only had 2 showings. Don, I know that you're taking really good care of the house. And I know that we've promoted the crap out of it. What do you think we need to do? Just to get your house sold in the next 21 days, the next 11 days. Don, what do you think?
Lower the price.
Wow. Peter Toering, that was phenomenal.
Thank you.
I
Appreciate that.
I should have him teach more classes.
No, you shouldn't. Darwin knows I taught a garbage class last week, and I called Darwin. I'm like, oh, it's terrible.
You got to quit doing it. He did a great class, you guys, but it wasn't in his truest Peter touring fashion. But I'll tell you what, that's why he knows why I just said that. Well, here, now that guys, he did a class on handling objections.
I don't handle objections, guys.
So I went in and I just ripped him apart on it.
No, he didn't.
I,
That's false.
but what he just did was a great example of handling an objection. And it was specific to the objection. So I'm commending him because of that. I just need him to know he does a
But
great
Don,
job.
it matters who says it. You know, it's so different when they say it's price versus when you say, because when I say it's priced, Don, I'm taking money out of your pocket. When I say to you, Don, so by the way, if you guys are a CB, you use Boost or Listing Concierge. If you use C21, you used, I forget what it's called now, Darwin Design Studio. You're going to get 10 to 15x what Zillow is going to get. So Don, I've promoted your house more than 10x what Zillow's done. How many more people do you think need to see it before we realize what's going on?
So much that you can do. So, guys, the last thing I wanted to point out today, price per square foot. Okay. So let me just, again, I'll use the average here first. It doesn't matter because I just need to point out, what does the average cost per square foot have to do with value or determining value?
Nothing.
Thank you. It has nothing to do with it, guys. It's a number that appraisers will calculate, but it is not taken into consideration in determining the final value. So again, we need to know that as real estate agents because thank you, Zillow. I'm sorry, I always vomit a little bit every time I have to say that. God bless them. They were smart in regards to their business strategy. And as realtors, we let them right into it. But here it becomes the bottom line. Cost per square foot means nothing. And when I have to educate a seller on this, I say, well, let's take your house. And next door, it was built just like yours. Except for that one next door, instead of being on a 125 by 125 lot, it's on an acre. Same exact house on an acre versus a postage stamp. Is the one with more acreage more valuable? Everybody do this. Absolutely. Now, all I do is divide the same square footage number. If it was 2,000, the one with the acreage is going to be a higher average cost per square foot. Does that mean the other one is worth the same thing now? No. As a matter of fact, let's put them on the same postage stamp lot. But yours, you did all the high quality improvements. The other one was your basic contractor grade counters, windows, doors, lights. Didn't do anything extra to it. Is yours worth more? Well, if we were to use the cost per square foot, your house would be the same as the other, or the other would be the same as yours. So bottom line is, we have to educate people. Well, first, we have to know and understand price per square foot doesn't mean a thing in regards to determining value.
Also,
we
Darwin,
have to be able to educate the sellers and buyers on the same thing. Go ahead, Peter.
no, the law of diminishing returns is a real principle. And we have to also educate our sellers on that. That the price per square foot of a 1,300 square foot house is not the same thing as the price per square foot of a 3,800 square foot house. Is that a fair assessment, Darwin?
That's a great assessment. And to take it one step further, next time you have an appraisal to take a look at, there is a place where an appraiser will adjust for the square footage, but it isn't going to be at $200 a square foot. It's probably going to be $40, maybe $75, but there's that law of diminishing return. Okay. But I want you to take a look at those so that you can, again, educate buyers and sellers in not using that in helping determine value. So with that, I finish my share and go, what questions might you guys have with what we covered today? Darwin, you did such a great job between you and Peter. We don't have any questions.
Quick question.
Go ahead, Lydia.
I came in late. Where
All right.
did you get the graphs from?
I'm not going to share because you were late. She knows. She's like a little sister. I got to share with you. Lydia was one of the first people that I had an opportunity to begin to train when I jumped into this thing. So, Lydia, let me go back. I'm gonna go ahead and share again. I think I'm gonna do this if I'm right. Lydia, you're supposed to be laughing for me anyway, just so I know you know I was picking on you.
I am hysterically.
All right. So in real comp, I can go right to stats, showing time market statistics.
You can also click on, if you scroll down, you'll also see it in your external links in real comp.
Yeah. So Peter's
Yes, if you
talking
scroll
here.
down, Darwin. Nope. If you just scroll down on the homepage.
Mine might not.
Yep.
Oh, there it is.
Go.
So there's an extra spot.
Yeah. So sorry for my real source friends. I'm not 100% sure where it is in Paragon. I think there's an external links portion in Paragon.
Okay. Oh, I wanted to show one other thing now that I just remembered. If I click on fast stats, you'll have this come up. And so Oakland County, and you can click on any of the actual MLS areas to be able to get detailed information. So as an example, I'll go to Orion Township. That'll hit a lot of Oakland County people. But I want you, because this was actually my final message and I forgot to share this. There may be a difference between looking at what would be the total MLS, entire MLS, to where you're looking at the area that you're taking a listing in, or you're working with a buyer in, or what your primary market area might be. And so you need to take a look really for your specific area. When we take a look at the big picture, when we look at it from this perspective, we're looking at the entire MLS, but I do need to know what's happening in my area. So just keep in mind, fast stats, for those who have this available, will give you your particular area very, very quickly. And this is what it looks like.
I'm sorry,
I would
Darwin,
suggest,
can I chip in one more time?
Yeah.
If you live in an area that has multiple MLS areas, so if you live in Clarkston, if you live in New Baltimore, if you live in Romeo, if you live in Livonia, there's a couple other areas. Be careful when they give multiple MLS areas. So like Clarkston, for example, is very, very tough to actually get statistics out of because they overlap. So it takes city, the village of Clarkston, it takes Independence. Just be careful. If the numbers look weird, go to zip codes. Sorry, that was just one. I've run into that in the past, especially because
and actually, I mean, that's where you can always look here too, because there is a big difference, just that little bit. But I think, Peter, what you were bringing up is the aspect that, let me go back. Sorry. Well, now I can't even do it because I don't even know where the heck I'm at or where you guys are at.
Yeah, like if you have a different mailing city than your actual city, that's a good clue.
Yeah. So again, you can click on the map and you can go right to the so this is a separate MLS area.
You're just showing us your email, Darwin.
Is it? Oh,
Yep,
wait a minute.
wrong screen.
Stop.
Yeah, but he's right.
thought I
If,
had
if,
the right
if
one.
you live in an area like that, just be careful. Maybe use the zip code.
Screen. Oh, that's why I did the wrong one. Here we go. So again, you can click on the area. So this is the village of Clarkston versus Independence Township, two separate MLS areas, and it should work correctly. But when you get to a very small area, you can have really wide ranging, in which case you might take and do what Peter was talking about and actually put into where you go to all of the different areas that you want to know. So you can put in zip codes and be able to make it work for you from that aspect also.
And you can compare multiples.
And as always, Peter and I are available. Peter's in the Lake Orion office, branch manager for those who don't know. And you guys, if you put in Darwin Conley, I'm going to come up at the top with all of my information. And the guy that's in jail down or prison in Georgia it's not me. Believe it or not, there's another Darwin Conley spelled exactly the same way.
No
But he's in
relation,
prison in
right?
Georgia. No
We know
relation.
you're not in jail, Darwin.
Yeah.
You're too well behaved. By the way, guys, I just put my cell number in. Thank you, Darwin, for letting me chip in too much on this.
I'm glad
if you
you're
guys have
here, my
questions-
friend. Guys, do you have anything else? All right. You always wait those 7 seconds just to make sure. Listen, we won't see you next week. Remember that. And as Lori Mays just put it in there, everybody, happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy it. Be safe. And we'll talk to you soon. Go talk to people, guys.